Hey, welcome back to English Echo Daily. So happy you're joining us today because we are talking about something that I think pretty much everyone listening has done at some point: binge watching. You know that thing where you sit down to watch just one episode and then suddenly it's 3 a.m. and you've finished the entire season.
Oh, I know that feeling way too well. You tell yourself, okay, one more episode, and then the next thing you know, the sun is coming up and you have to be at work in 3 hours, and you have absolutely no regrets.
Zero regrets. And it's such a fascinating cultural phenomenon when you think about it. Like, this is something that basically didn't exist 20 years ago. The way we watch television has completely transformed, and with it, the way we talk about it, the way we relate to other people through it, it's genuinely become a huge part of modern life.
It really has, and today we want to dig into all of that. The vocabulary around binge watching, how people talk about their favorite shows, the culture of TV recommendations, spoilers. Spoilers are their own whole thing. And why we're all so obsessed. It's going to be a fun one.
Let's start with the term itself. Binge watching. Where does it even come from? Because binge traditionally had a pretty negative connotation, right? Like binge drinking or binge eating. It implied doing something excessively and kind of out of control.
Right, and I think that negative sense hasn't completely disappeared when it comes to binge watching either. Like, there's still a little bit of guilt attached to it for a lot of people. You hear things like, I totally wasted my whole weekend binge watching. The word wasted is interesting there. They had a great time, but they still frame it as something slightly irresponsible.
That guilt-pleasure tension is so real, and I think it's part of what makes the culture around it so interesting. We love doing it, we recommend shows to each other with genuine enthusiasm, and then we also kind of apologize for it at the same time. I've been watching way too much TV lately, honestly.
Yes, I need to go outside. I haven't seen sunlight in 2 days. Classic binge watching aftermath statements. Okay, so let's talk vocabulary because there's a whole language that has developed around watching shows and being part of this culture.
Starting with the basics. Episode, one installment of a show. Season, a collection of episodes usually released together or over a period of weeks. In British English, by the way, they often say series instead of season, so I just finished series 3 of that show means the same as I just finished season 3.
Good distinction. And then finale, the last episode of a season or the entire show. Season finale is the last episode of a particular season, and series finale is the very last episode of the whole show, ever. Finales are a big deal in TV culture. People talk about them for years.
Cliffhanger. This is when an episode or a season ends at a really tense, unresolved moment, leaving you desperate to see what happens next. It's basically designed to make you watch the next episode immediately. The name comes from the old image of literally hanging off a cliff. Everything is at stake and unresolved.
Cliffhangers are why binge watching exists, honestly. When streaming platforms release an entire season at once and every episode ends on a cliffhanger, you're just trapped. You have to keep watching.
Plot twist. When the story goes in a completely unexpected direction. Good plot twists are what people talk about for months. Oh my god, did you see that plot twist in the finale? I did not see that coming. I did not see that coming is such a classic reaction phrase.
And the opposite, something that was incredibly predictable. I called it from episode one, meaning you predicted what was going to happen right from the start. People love saying this. It's a point of pride. Yeah, I totally called that the whole time.
Character development. How a character grows, changes, or evolves throughout a show. When people love a show, they often talk about the character development. The character development in that show is incredible. She starts out as this timid person, and by the end, she's completely transformed.
And plot hole, a gap or inconsistency in the story that doesn't make logical sense. People love pointing out plot holes, like it becomes a sport. Wait, but if he was in prison in season 2, how is he at the wedding in season 1? Plot holes can really damage how people feel about a show.
Let's talk about how people actually recommend shows to each other, because this is such a big part of the culture. If you speak English and you hang out with English speakers, you will be asked for and give show recommendations constantly.
The enthusiasm that people bring to recommending a show they love is genuinely extraordinary. It's like they're personally offended if you haven't watched it yet. What do you mean you haven't seen it? You have to watch it. Drop everything. Watch it right now.
Ha, and then the pressure of watching something someone recommended because now you have to report back to them. So, did you watch it? What did you think? And if you didn't love it as much as they did, that's a delicate situation.
Very delicate. You don't want to hurt their feelings, so you learn to say things like, I can see why people love it. It just wasn't really my thing. Very diplomatic. Or, I liked it, but I didn't love it. Honest, but soft.
Some useful phrases for recommending shows. You absolutely have to watch this. It starts slow, but stick with it. It gets so good. I watched the whole thing in a weekend. It's one of those shows you just can't stop watching. The writing is incredible. The acting is unreal. I was completely hooked from the first episode.
Hooked is such a good word in this context. It means you became completely captivated. You couldn't stop. I was hooked after the pilot. The pilot being the very first episode of a show, the one that introduces everything. Whether the pilot is good or not often determines if people keep watching.
And binge-worthy, a show that is so good it justifies or even demands being watched all at once. Is it binge-worthy? Is a question people genuinely ask before committing to a new show. It's basically asking, will I lose control once I start?
Now, let's talk about spoilers because this is a huge topic in English-speaking TV culture. A spoiler is when someone reveals important plot information to someone who hasn't watched yet, ruining the surprise for them.
Spoilers are taken very seriously, like comedically seriously. People will warn each other extensively before discussing a show. Spoiler warning or spoiler alert before revealing anything. And if someone spoils a show for you without warning, that is considered a genuine social crime.
You spoiled it for me is an accusation with real emotional weight. And then you have to apologize and feel terrible. It's very funny when you step back and think about it. We have developed real social etiquette around fictional television events.
We really have, and the digital age has made spoilers so much harder to avoid. If a big episode airs and you haven't watched it yet, you basically have to avoid all social media or risk having it ruined. People tweet about finales immediately, post reactions, discuss twists, and if you're not caught up, you're in danger.
No spoilers, please, is something people say constantly. And the pressure to watch things quickly so you can participate in the cultural conversation around it is real. There's almost a social currency to being caught up on the shows everyone is talking about.
That's such a good point. Shows become talking points, ways to connect with people. Are you watching that new show everyone's talking about? Is a conversation starter. If you are, you have an instant connection and lots to discuss. If you're not, you feel a little left out.
FOMO, fear of missing out, applies to TV culture just as much to social events. You hear things like, I finally caved and started watching it because everyone kept talking about it and I had serious FOMO.
I finally caved is a great phrase. It means you resisted for a while, but eventually gave in, like the social pressure or curiosity became too strong. I wasn't going to start another show, but I finally caved.
Let's talk about genres for a bit, because how people describe what kind of show they're into is a big part of this conversation. What kind of shows do you watch is such a common question.
Some genre vocabulary: drama, serious, story driven; comedy or sitcom, funny, usually with a laugh track in the older ones; thriller, suspenseful, keeps you on edge; crime show or procedural, focused on investigations, cases; reality TV, unscripted, following real people in various situations; docuseries, documentary in series format. These are all terms that come up constantly.
And some hybrid terms. Dark comedy is a comedy that deals with serious or uncomfortable themes. Dramedy, a blend of drama and comedy. True crime, one of the most popular genres right now, based on real criminal cases. People are obsessed with true crime.
The true crime obsession is fascinating from a cultural standpoint. Podcasts, documentaries, series, there's so much of it and people cannot get enough. I've been down a true crime rabbit hole. A rabbit hole meaning you followed one thing and then kept going deeper and deeper into related content.
Down a rabbit hole is such a versatile expression and it applies perfectly to streaming culture. You watch one documentary about a topic, and then you watch three more, and then you're reading articles at midnight, and you've completely lost track of how you got there.
Okay, let's talk about the streaming platforms themselves because they're such a big part of how this conversation happens. Netflix, HBO, Disney Plus, Apple TV, Amazon Prime. People are very opinionated about their streaming services.
Streaming wars is a term you hear, referring to the competition between all these platforms for viewers and content. And subscription fatigue, the feeling of being overwhelmed by how many subscriptions you need to watch everything you want. I have 5 streaming subscriptions and I still feel like I'm missing things.
And the phenomenon of shows getting canceled, which is always a painful topic. Getting canceled in the TV sense means the platform or network decides not to make more episodes, usually because viewership wasn't high enough. And fans are devastated when their favorite show gets canceled unexpectedly.
They canceled it on a cliffhanger, one of the most painful experiences in modern television viewership. The story's unresolved, you'll never know what happened, and you just have to live with that. People campaign online to save canceled shows. Sometimes it works.
This has been such a fun conversation. I feel like we could honestly talk about this topic for hours. Let's finish with just a few really casual, useful phrases you might hear or want to use when talking about TV with English speakers.
What are you watching lately? The classic opener. I need a new show. Any recommendations? I'm in between shows right now, meaning you just finished something and haven't started anything new yet. A very relatable, slightly melancholy state.
I'm saving that one, meaning you know about the show, you plan to watch it, but you're waiting for the right moment. Don't tell me anything, I'm saving it. I fell behind. You stop watching and now you're not caught up with where the show currently is. I fell behind on that show. I'm like 3 seasons back.
I gave up on it. You started watching but stopped, usually because it lost your interest. I gave up on it after season 2. It just went downhill. Went downhill meaning the quality decreased. And it redeemed itself. After a bad period, the show got good again. Season 3 was rough, but season 4 totally redeemed it.
And my personal favorite, just one more episode. The 4 most dangerous words in the English language when you have things to do the next morning.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. We hope you had as much fun listening to this as we had recording it. TV and entertainment are such a huge part of modern culture and modern English, so knowing how to talk about it fluently really does matter.
Keep practicing your English every day, even if that means watching your favorite show in English with subtitles. That counts. We'll see you in the next episode of English Echo Daily.
Bye, everyone, and remember, just one more episode.
Bye.